What?
I'm not kidding. I did this design.
I believe you. Huh. How did you draw your own eyeball?
I looked in the mirror.
Oh.
Took a selfie.
Are
we starting?
I think I'm going to leave that in there. And 3, 2, 1. Hey, we're back. It is episode 25. 25 of the Metal Roundtable. I am Metal Rob. See, our previous jokes got me screwed up. With me, as always, is the great
Carcass John.
And we are here with backstage passes on.
And we don't know why.
We don't know why. I just
he originally gave me the Anthrax one, and I said I got to trade. They take me off.
So he's got Kiss, and I'm wearing Anthrax.
And then I told him it was covering up my eye, and he said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Yeah, this right there is my eyeball." So I did this, and my daughters is in here, and Amy and Corinne, and all them all,
Okay.
Yeah.
Artists.
Hey, you gotta have a. I'm glad I don't draw women, okay? Because that would throw it all out. Anyway.
Well, here we come, episode 25. It's a milestone for us. Now, I'm sure nobody but us cares. But, hey, episode 25, man. We've been around for a minute now doing this thing. I'd like to say we've gotten better, but I'm not sure that that's the truth.
I think we've just gotten more comfortable with the fact that we're not better.
Right. We've gotten more comfortable. And today we bring you the mighty, the Godfathers. Everyone, let's have a moment of silence.
Silence?
For Black Sabbath.
They're the loudest band ever.
That's right. So we're gonna take a trip through the Black Sabbath catalog, at least what I have, and talk about that. So, man, without further ado, let's get after this. Boom.
Boom.
Are you kidding?
If you don't own Black Sabbath's first record, then there's just something about you not really being a metalhead.
There we go.
There we go.
Look at that.
There we go. One of my bucket list items is to go stand in front of that house.
Yes.
And get my picture taken.
Yes.
Why? I don't know why. I bought that when I was 13 years old with Grand Funk Railroad shining on, and I still have it.
Is this the most iconic metal record and album cover ever? Is it? What else would it be?
I don't know. We're not done talking about Black Sabbath.
I know. But this, man, you talk about starting a fire. Think about what was going on in 1970 music-wise.
Yeah.
And then this thing drops. The year I was born, by the way. Holy cow, man. What a great record. This is the deluxe expanded edition of the CD.
Which I love because they remastered them, or they remixed them, but they didn't do so many changes that they sound annoyingly bright or whatever.
Yeah, it's just an improved job on the original.
Plus all the B-side stuff.
Oh my gosh, the B-side stuff, studio outtakes, instrumentals. It's just, it's really cool, man. So if you're looking for CDs, which I keep telling you are going to come back, records did, cassettes sort of have, I'm telling you, go get this. This is also available on vinyl. Now, it's been out of print for a little while, so you may have trouble finding it, but you're not going to pay an arm and a leg yet. But the vinyl is out there. The CD's out there.
The vinyl, yes. You're going to pay an arm and a leg.
It's worth it, dude.
But that makes it worth, yes.
Okay. So, I don't even know if I have these in the right order, so stop me.
So far,
if I'm
so
wrong.
good.
So then we follow up with Paranoid. Holy crap, man. War Pigs, Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Iron Man. I mean,
I used to scare my sisters. I have 4 younger sisters, no brothers, so I was left to my own demise for mischief. And I had a big pair of Sansui speakers about up to my hip, and I would stick them in the corners of my sister's room, run a little wire, and then they would be napping, and I would play Iron Man at a high level, and I would barricade their door so they couldn't come out.
You're a big jerk. That's what you are.
I think that's funny, actually.
Being mean to your sisters.
Yeah,
what's wrong with you?
I love you, Karen. Anyway, boy, that was the second week I became a recordaholic.
Okay.
I bought that and Deep Purple Machine Head.
Wow.
Right off the shelf at the base commissary at Maxwell Air Force Base, Montgomery, Alabama.
Man, that's a twofer right there. Anyway, Perfect album, just like the first one. It's just front to back, note for note. It's just a beautiful metal record. Black Sabbath, Paranoid, love it. Am I still in order here?
You don't have volume 4?
I guess
You
not.
don't have volume 4? Oh my gosh. Now we've got a problem. No, you're on. That's the next one.
Okay.
Master of Reality.
All right.
The master of your reality is you don't have
Volume
volume 4.
I've got the vinyl. I can go get it. It's right there.
Do you have the vinyl with the little pages that,
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
All right.
You talk about this, and I'll go find volume 4 to make your ass happy.
Sweet Leaf. Who doesn't know what that is? Even the cough before they even strike a note is classic.
Iconic.
Children of the Grave, Lord of the World, Solitude, Into the Void. And so many people have made Into the Void a great song. And wow, that is a copy I don't own because it's got the orange lettering.
We're not to that yet.
Okay. But anyway, I love Master of Reality. It's kind of a harkening back to the heaviness of the first album without the speed and the durations of the Paranoid. But I really like this. But then Iommi does these goofy little like Orchid and Embryo and these weird interludes, and you're kind of getting a flash or a glimpse of flashing forward to the future as to the kind of weirdness that, I mean, once again, bands get to a point where they're like trying to reinvent themselves or create something so new or and believe me, everything they did was new sounding. Because think about it, how many bands did we know about when we were kids?
Right.
So
yeah, you just didn't. Yeah. There was no internet, obviously. This happens to be the remaster that was done a few years ago, '96. This one. The thing that is really cool about the Black Sabbath remasters, nobody has screwed them up.
Right.
They've really done a good job. So you really can't go wrong whether you buy the original or a remaster. Your money is safe because they've done a really nice job on these. And so you can enjoy any of them. Don't panic.
I think they just cleaned them up enough. You might hear a string squeak or a pedal make a little noise, but other than that, that's okay by me. Okay, that's the NEMS. Orange.
Orange on the back.
Yeah, the American pressing was yellow.
White on the front. Now this is what's on here? Now see, this is one that I'm a little less familiar. I'm a little less familiar with some of these songs. I know Snowblind. I know Changes. I know Supernaut. A lot of these songs are not as familiar to me, but
you have the insert, right?
I don't think so. No.
No. Okay.
No, I know. I'm a loser.
No. You're not a loser. That is. I don't have this pressing. Yes, I'm one of those weirdos, and I have multiple pressings from different countries. In fact,
you should see the Scorpions crap this dude has. How many versions of Lonesome Crow do you have?
I have 15 different versions. They're not the same. I don't keep buying the same old record every time. How many Toxic Holocausts do I have?
I know.
Well, I got a red one and a yellow one and a toxic and clear one. You know what?
This just reeks of 70s greatness. Look at those pictures, man. That's ridiculous. Volume 4.
And this thing used to have 2 other pages in it. Stapled in the middle, and they had more pictures, but most people would pop that out and put it on the wall.
Now, did mine have that and it's been taken out, or mine wasn't that version?
It's not that version.
Oh, okay.
The true American version has Ozzy doing his little hand clapping thing, and you can see Bill Ward's giant pearl drum set in the background. Man, I really dig this. And I know that, see, this is where kind of you know how as music grows and the influences are there, there's bands that start to split off and they form death metal and thrash metal and technical black metal or whatever. That's where the stoner thing came. I mean, down-tuned and real bluesy, a lot of fuzz pedal. Man, that thing right there took it to the outer reaches of the stoner rock era.
So what you're saying is I need to spend more time with that record.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I'm on it. So as we continue to be, we're back on track. Thank you.
Back on track. Thanks.
He takes care of me. It's all good. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Dude.
What
is wrong with this album?
Nothing.
Tell me.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's all I need to know. Well, that was a short discussion.
The instrumental interludes, once again, a little too long, a little too creepy, but it took me forever to like this record.
I love it.
And I finally
Sabbath, Bloody
I
Sabbath.
finally was at Born Late Records. John Perez was blasting this thing, and Perez said, now the thing about John Perez, and he's a highly trained, highly skilled musician.
Mm-hmm.
But he has some of the worst music I've ever heard, and he does it by design. And we can have the black metal Pest, the band called Pest or Root, or we can get into the discussion about that. But there's reason why he has those records in his collection. Well, I thought he was kidding when he told me that this was his favorite Black Sabbath record, and I said, "How can you say that?" And he said, "We're going to listen to it." And I stood there in the record store. He started it, and we finished it. And he said, "How can you not, just like you did, how can you not say that this isn't the greatest Black Sabbath?" And I couldn't disagree with him. I heard it in a different light.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting Volume 4, which was fuzzy and heavy. This thing is intricate and technical and
scary.
It is scary.
That's the thing for me. My first experience was seeing this artwork. I'd heard some of the songs, but a friend of mine named Daryl Thrasher had this on vinyl, and this is the one where you open it up and the lady's in the coffin.
Mm-hmm.
That scared the crap out of me. I was so unnerved by that, but at the same time, it just kind of sucks you in. You're like, oh, I need to know more. I need to listen to this. Does it sound as scary as hell like it looks? And the answer is yes. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. This is a perfect heavy metal album right here.
And I think that's the key. It's a heavy metal record.
Mm-hmm.
The others, I don't know that they have a real description. The first 4,
yeah,
they're heavy records.
Yeah.
Are they heavy metal?
Obviously now they're considered that, but yeah, at the time, I mean that
they're like a heavy rock. I mean, there were other bands like Witchfinder General and Blue Cheer doing that same down-tuned heaviness, but there was just something atmospheric and brilliant about Black Sabbath.
It was darker, it was scarier, it was edgier.
Yep.
And that takes us to Sabotage. Great album. Hole in the Sky, later covered by Pantera, was awesome. Great cover. I love that song. Symptom of the Universe, fantastic. Super Czar.
Megalomania is one of my favorite songs, and here I am going to be a hypocrite because I said songs should be shorter. That's a 9-minute song, but it's killer. It's got one of the most killer breakdown riffs that you'll ever hear, and I advise you to go listen to it when we're done talking about it. And I took a long time to get healed into that too, because Symptom of the Universe, I spun that thing over and over. I had the 8-track, and I'd play Hole in the Sky and Symptom of the Universe over and over and over and over again, because I could, because 8 tracks had 4 programs, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're too old, then we're too loud. But great record.
Sabotage.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, my case is cracked there. Sorry about that. Okay, now this is just a best of.
But it personified.
It's really cool.
My friends that weren't listening to Sabbath, I just handed them that and said, "Here, check this out. This gives you a big, broad."
Yep. If you're gonna start somewhere, if you're a younger kid watching this, you're just getting into older metal, man, this is a great place to start. If you want the early Ozzy Sabbath, this will do it. There you go. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Don't start just yet.
Oh boy. Okay. Can you see? There we go. I like it.
I like it too.
It's really weird.
It's very, very weird.
From the artwork to the music, it's just weird. It's almost a rock and roll record.
It is a rock and roll record. And I don't know if you know all the history of it. The Mickey Wall book called Rat Salad, highly recommended, explains every Ozzy era Black Sabbath record, what the band was going through, what their thought process was. They were Bill Ward was having a heck of a time with health and drug issues. Carmine Appice was dropping in occasionally to help try to finish the record. There's a whole lot of angst, anger, and stuff going on with this record. But man, there are some great songs. Dirty Women, All Parts. All Moving Parts, Stand Still.
I like It's All Right. The ballad.
Right. Gypsy, Rock and Roll Doctor. Man.
Who sings the ballad? Is that it's not?
That's Bill Ward.
Is it Bill Ward?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, okay, Bill showed up. Let's let him do everything.
I thought
tonight.
it was Geezer, but
no, it's Bill.
This is a nice album. I enjoyed finding this on vinyl because not only was I able to find the regular vinyl, but the picture disc of this is really neat.
It's a cool artwork.
I
love, and I do art on the side, as you well know, and since we have a clean sweep of the artistic thing, but the art is just kind of cool. It's real contemporary, and it's and they recorded it out in California, and this is really reminiscent of the whole vibe there during that era.
Yeah, cool record. It's weird.
It's not the greatest.
Yeah,
but it is a good record.
Now we get to something that I had a very hard time embracing, and I still do. Never Say Die. I remember seeing this cover in the stores back in the day, and I thought it was really cool and kind of odd. Never Say Die is a great song.
Johnny Blade.
And I kind of fell off after that.
My daughter thinks it's about me, but it's not.
That one doesn't do a whole lot for me. I'm glad to have it in the collection. I've spun it a few times. I think it's okay.
Well, next time you listen to this, start with Shockwave.
Okay.
Start with Shockwave, track 5, and then go back and go to the start. It's probably my least favorite Ozzy record.
Yes,
but I'm not going to go so far as to say that it's a Load or Reload, or a Saint Anger. This is still a good record.
A lot of tension in the band.
A lot of tension in the band. I was reading in that one book that they were spending, 6 figures on cocaine. That was their budget their budget. Now, when you have a budget, as you get together, have a band meeting. I don't know how many bands get together and say, okay, we need a budget for coke, and we're not talking about Mexican Coca-Cola in a green bottle. We're talking about up your nose and let's get going. But when your budget is 6 figures or more. I mean, who are you, Stevie Nicks? Give me a break.
Wow.
But this is not a terrible record. It's just not an outstanding Black Sabbath record like we became accustomed to earlier on.
Now let me tell you what is an outstanding Black Sabbath record, because these dudes are about to go on a run that I think is as good as anything in their career. Heaven and Hell. Tell me what's not perfect about this album.
Everything is there except Ozzy, and okay, we'll just have to use Dio instead. Okay, that's fine with me. Usually when a band changes singers, I get really nervous. Mm-hmm. And with Sabbath, when Ozzy left and there was all that to do about he's going solo and whatever, mm-hmm. I thought, oh my gosh, one of my favorite bands is going to be no more. And then I heard that this little Elf was going to sing with him, and I'd heard that I had the Elf record, and this guy was a crooner from the 60s.
Yeah.
He wasn't,
the Rainbow stuff was out there, too.
Right. That right there solidified my opinion that you can change your singer and still be awesome.
This rescued Black Sabbath.
It did rescue, because they were circling the drain after Never Say Die.
It absolutely rescued them. Again, you can find this in multiple formats. This is the 2 CD deluxe edition. The B-side, or not the B-side, the disc 1 has the regular album, remastered. It sounds beautiful, it's perfect. Every song is great. Disc 2, live single B-side, 7-inch mono edit, live 1980, live 1980, live 1980. I mean, the live tracks are immaculate on this.
That's the thing
album.
About music from the past, and I hate to sound like an old fogey, but I'm going to. I don't care, I'm an old fogey. Bands didn't have the luxury of all the click tracking and voice editing and this, that, and the other. They had to get out and just do it.
You had to pull it off.
And the bands that could do it remained great, and the bands that didn't fell by the wayside. Mm-hmm. And Ronnie James Dio, for as quirky and weird as he is, that dude has pipes, and he had pipes till he was into his 70s and dying of cancer. But he was still out on stage laying it out there. He was awesome.
So, here's the next one. Tell me what's wrong with this record.
No sophomore slump here, man.
Nothing.
Yep.
These dudes, Turn Up the Night, Voodoo, Sign of the Southern Cross, Mob Rules, Country Girl. I mean, it's just a great album. There's bonus tracks. Again, this is the 2-disc remastered deluxe edition. But disc 2, Live at the Hammersmith in 82, it's combined. It's 81 and 82.
That was probably that tour.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
It's 2 dates in a row. And you get some old Aussie stuff. You get NIB, you get Black Sabbath, War Pigs, Iron Man. But you get the Dio era stuff, and it's just an amazing record. So the record in itself is great, Mob Rules. The bonus material is worth the price of admission alone. This is a fantastic record. Those were the 2 studio albums that Ronnie James Dio did with the band. And then, if that wasn't enough, let's give them a double live album of the entire Black Sabbath discography to that point, pretty much.
Well, and we talked about live albums once before, and I don't know if we discussed this.
I don't know if we did either.
And we should have, because it is mind-blowing.
It's outstanding. It's perfect.
The production is great. The crowd sounds real. And the musicianship is just incredible. So
lots of notes. It's a great live album. If you want to hear great Ronnie James Dio, or you want to hear great live Black Sabbath, man, you just can't go wrong with Live Evil. Amazing.
Ooh.
Okay.
Now it gets the waters they get a little murky, and
now
lots of opinion here now.
Okay. This is my favorite Black Sabbath album.
What?
I love this.
I thought I knew you, man.
I do not discount the greatness of any Black Sabbath record. Not the Dio records, not the Ozzy records. They're all wonderful and great.
In their own way.
I'm not saying, like I've said before, I'm not saying this is their best. It's not their best album. It's my favorite. I freaking love Ian Gillan on this record. I desperately wish that they had done another tour, another album. I desperately wish that they would have collaborated and put out more material, because I thought it was a match made in heaven. Again, I hate to keep beating a dead horse. The deluxe reissue of this album has bonus tracks on the back and a full live show from 1983 that is as clean of an FM broadcast as you've ever heard. It's freaking outstanding. It's Ian Gillan, for crying out loud. So now they've had Ozzy, Dio, and Ian Gillan.
And probably the next biggest.
I mean,
what next? Rob Halford?
Yeah, where do you go from there? Who did fill in for him?
Well, let me tell you about this. The song Trashed and the song Disturbing the Priest, killer songs. That's what the only reason I can keep this around is for those 2 songs, and the fact that I love Ian Gillan just like you do, because Deep Purple has got to be one of my favorite bands of all times. I think they could have done better. I know this thing was random and kind of slapped together. In fact, just the whole meeting. How did Ian Gillan become part of the band?
I think they met in a bar, didn't they?
His publicist called him the next day after a drunken stupor and said, "Hey, next time you join a band, why don't you call me first?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You just joined Black Sabbath. They're getting ready for tour." He had like 3 weeks to learn all the songs. And he did, despite the fact that he had a notebook down by one of the monitors with the lyrics, and there was so much fog on the stage that he's huddled over a monitor, if you've seen the video,
awesome.
Kind of mumbling to himself because he can't see the lyrics. But anyway.
There's another couple of things about this that lended some creepiness and some eeriness to it.
Look at the cover. That's creepy as all get out, man.
It's a terrible cover. Terrible artwork.
My mom would not allow that in the house.
But there's almost nothing video-wise. There is a full show, grainy, terrible from the back of it. Of course, I have a copy of it.
Of course you do, Mr. Lonesome Crow guy. There's
very few live recordings out there, and what they do have been released for the most part. So that lends to the mystery of the era for me. And so I went out and sought out everything I could. I've got a 2 DVD set of stuff from commercials to promos to live appearances to this and that. It's got some really neat stuff on it, and it's the biggest collection of that stuff I've seen. There's just no more of it out there. But dude, the video for Zero the Hero.
Oh, that's another good song.
There's a horse going downstairs in a mansion. What else do you want? Gosh. Okay, now to me is where we start getting dicey and weird. Although I dig this album, Seventh Star.
Isn't that one further down the list there?
No, I don't think so. I may have it out of order.
I think you do.
Well, we're going to talk about it.
Okay, talk about it anyway.
So anyway, I dig this. This was supposed to be a Tony Iommi solo album. He talks about it in his book Iron Man, which I cannot recommend enough. He goes through each record.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, some of them might be a paragraph this long, or there may be several pages, but holy crap, what a great book. I dig this album. Glenn Hughes sings on this.
Great vocalist.
Once again, another Deep Purple tie-in. In for the Kill, No Stranger to Love, Seventh Star, great, Danger Zone. I like this. It was supposed to be like a Tony Iommi solo album, like I said. They convinced him to put Black Sabbath on it. I'm glad they did, because unlike some of the other bands that we've discussed that change out members and it's not really the same band anymore, if Tony Iommi is okay with saying that this is Black Sabbath, then it's freaking Black Sabbath.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. I definitely think I'm out of order here.
No, I just put that one in.
Okay, but we're going to get over it. So, who saves the band again?
RJD, baby.
RJD comes back. This is what, 92? Yeah, when was this one? Whatever.
Production value.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, and I may have skipped a few. I don't claim to have them all. I may have skipped. But anyway, the next one is Dehumanizer. Gosh, it's got Computer God. It's got, I think this has got I on it. I don't see it. Time Machine. No, I is a different. No, there it is. Yeah, see, I do kind of know what I'm talking about sometimes. I like this one. What say you, Carcass, on Dehumanizer?
I love it. I love that record. I think that all the trouble they had with the recording, the production, and Ronnie going in and sneaking into the room and cranking up the volume like he did with Rainbow and all that. But as far as the record, it's killer. It harkens back to the Mob Rules and the whatever. Mm-hmm. It was a continuation of that. Once again, we're showing the greatness of the band. I mean, they weren't even really together. They go in and crank this thing out? Are you kidding me?
Well, to talk about the murkiness, what I'm talking about is they go through a singer and album, a singer and album, a singer and album, a singer and album. Now, this brings in the great, I believe, the great, we skipped...
Tear? Headless Cross?
Oh, no, we're getting to it. Okay,
yeah.
Now these are out of order. Anyway.
Yeah, they are out of order because I think, wasn't this Eternal Idol next?
Yeah, I think
because they were going to have another vocalist, Ray Gillen.
Yes!
From
Badlands. And now that was pre-Badlands, but and I don't know what else he was in. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But this thing right here, I think Tony Martin eventually took over vocals.
Correct.
And did the studio album.
Correct.
But the demo that Ray Gillen does is beyond compare.
If you can get your hands on the demo, because it's pretty much the complete album with Ray Gillen singing. It is amazing. Is that not what the bonus
There's a band he was in called Sun Red Sun. Sun Red Sun.
Yeah,
and his vocals are outstanding. And then there's this. His vocals are outstanding. And then anything on Badlands. In fact, I just had this battle with somebody online. I said that the Badlands Dusk is probably the best because everybody was spot on. Jake E. Lee, Greg Chasen, and Ray Gillen's vocals were just outstanding.
Well, again, to beat the dead horse, this is the 2 CD deluxe reissue. I've got the regular CD over there, but the Tony Martin album is fantastic. His performance is fantastic. The demos are so close to what went on the album. They're finished pre-production demos. They sound great. The album is great. Don't let me discount that. But dude, disc 2 is the Ray Gillen session of 8 of the 9 songs that they did that eventually became the album. Dude, his voice was so awesome.
You know what though, and when I listen to all those things side by side, he is the gap that gaps Ronnie James and Tony Martin.
Mm-hmm.
He's something in between.
He did tour with them.
He had his own unique tone, but he is. I mean, you hear Ronnie James Dio and you hear Tony Martin when Ray Gillen sings. It was it was uncanny. And if you listen to it again, you'll hear what I'm saying.
Now I get kind of lost here, to be honest with you. Again, Tony Martin turns in a great performance on this album. I don't know a ton on this. I've listened to it a few times. It hasn't stuck with me. Cross purposes. Tony Martin.
They were getting a little popish.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a, no, not even a kind way. They were getting less of a metal and more of a, wow, we got to sell records. We're running out of time here.
Honestly, don't know a lot about this. That album, Cross Purposes. I think we missed.
No, you're right on spot. You're spot on.
Okay.
I think.
I think we're out of order.
Probably so.
It doesn't matter.
Go with that one. I like that record.
Here we go. This one should have gone here. Okay. This is where...
Production value.
Yeah. This is where Tony Martin shines. Headless Cross, Devil and Daughter, When Death Calls. This is a great Black Sabbath album. With, obviously, Tony Martin singing. I can't remember who all was on this, but I love this album a lot.
Has that got Eric Singer on it?
Cozy Powell played drums on this.
There you go. That's another powerhouse drummer.
But, man, this is an underrated Sabbath album because it came out in that weird period for them. But
when Flock of Seagulls was out selling Black Sabbath, you mean?
But, man, this is a good record. Check it out. We'll go through these pretty quick. And like I said, I think I'm probably skipping or we've got them out of order. But whatever. You love us. We hope. Okay, Forbidden. I couldn't stick with it. The Illusion of Power is a good song. I don't know a ton about it. Again, it's a Tony Martin album. If you can find the original vinyl, that thing is rare as hen's teeth. The CD you can find, but holy crap, there is a reissue. That I have, but the original, good luck. If you can find one, you're going to spend some cash. Highly sought after in the metal vinyl collector community.
And why spend $300 if you're not going to listen to
it?
I
can't recommend that one very well. It's okay.
I really like this record.
This one is good. Again, I haven't given it enough of a chance because, they were kind of on a downhill slide here. So I don't know. You'll have to talk about this.
It's a powerhouse record. It's a little more epic. And Sabbath Stones and Valhalla and the Battle of Tyr, Jerusalem, they're all great songs, but they're heavy and plotting and they're trying to tell a story, which they do. But, I mean, how can you argue with the lineup? Tony Iommi, Cozy Powell, Tony Martin, Neil Murray on bass, and then Jeff Nichols on keyboards.
Yeah.
I mean, gee whiz.
It's good. It's not their most solid album.
You can never complain by the fact that Iommi didn't always put together quality guys.
Yes,
it wasn't a bunch of no-name dudes. He was friends with everybody, and why wouldn't you be? And
sorry. Go ahead.
But that's that's probably what makes these tolerable is that they're just well played, and there's great musicianship, and the songs are decent. And I guess when you get to the point, kind of like Metallica. If you compare everything to the first 3 records, then you're not going to enjoy them as much.
Right.
The only way I've enjoyed these is because this is Tony Martin. This is an Ozzy Osbourne. This is a Tony Martin era Black Sabbath.
Right. And
I'm able to gesticulate between the two because they're not the same. They're apples to oranges. But
so we fast forward to the reunion of the original.
Is it 06 or 09?
98.
Or 98. Oh, gosh.
I know. So, 95, 98. We may have missed something in between. This is good. This is pretty
Yeah.
good. It's a great recording. It's live stuff. It includes all the big classic songs, but the really hidden gem on here is the bonus track Psycho Man. I dig it.
Hmm.
I really dig
I'm gonna have to
Psycho
listen to
Man.
it. I'll have to go back and listen to it.
I
Today.
remember hearing that on the Eagle back in the day. Hey, we've got a new Black Sabbath song. Of course, my ears what? And Psycho Man's good. It's slow, it's plotting, but I dig it. It's a pretty cool
I mean, like everything on
record.
everything on their last album.
Oh my gosh, this thing. I can't do it.
Not at all.
I can't. I like the song "God Is Dead."
Is God dead?
No,
As
it's
Ozzy
a question.
would say. Yeah.
It's a question on the song. I got in trouble because I posted that song, and my friend's mom panicked. God is not dead. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't say God is dead, and I don't care. I don't even want to go down that road. But it was a question. They're asking the question, and it's a great song. I think this is boring.
Well, I won't totally disagree with you. The songs are slow. They are plotting. And they're too long. It's like every song is 7 to 9 minutes, but I still like it because it's the last thing that they're going to do.
That's true.
Now, what do you have the CD?
No, that's
Okay.
all I've got.
Get the deluxe version of the CD because it's got some of these songs performed live.
Well, there's a CD in there.
Some of these songs are performed live and a bonus of leftover tracks. And I'm like, why didn't you put the leftover tracks on there? They're killer.
Okay,
So,
see, I may not have even gotten that
and
far.
so and they re-record some of the old Black Sabbath with the new intonation, and they sound pretty cool.
Okay.
So I think that this allows them to back out the door and close it and lock it. I think that unlike Kiss, that kept trying to, Kiss keeps putting out relatively good records.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Dressed to Kill. They're not Rock and Roll Over. They're not Love Gun.
Right.
But Monster is pretty credible.
Monster's pretty good.
Psycho Circus, not bad.
Pretty good. Sonic
So
Boom, pretty
the
good.
thing is they keep putting out a decent enough record where they say, well, maybe this is the last ultimate tour of our final tour. But that being said, it is a little plotting. I like the upbeat. I saw them twice on the end tour. I was fortunate enough to go to Denver and see them the very first show of the tour, and then in September down in Dallas for the very last one. And I actually did I didn't do the meet and greet that was $1,200, and I'm glad I didn't because the guys that did said it was a cattle call. You went in, you couldn't even shake hands, talk, socialize, touch, hug. You went in, you stood on a piece of tape, and you went snap, and then you walked off the little podium.
That's a ripoff.
But at the sound check, see, we bought the tickets that allowed you to sit first 5 rows and go to the sound check. And you got a nice little box of things, passes, posters, buttons, pins. And at the sound check, they were very talkative, very engaging. You could raise your hand and ask a question. And it was very insightful.
Cool.
Yeah, and they spoke very highly, and I know everyone complained, oh, no Bill Ward, no Black Sabbath. Well, I disagree. If the guy can't do it physically or mentally or emotionally, then he can't do it. But Tommy Clufetos is one BAMFer. That guy looked like Bill Ward from 71 or 72 era, had the massive white kit, had the white leathers on, had the hair, had the headband, and he killed it. They wouldn't have sounded that great without Tommy playing drums. So, yes, I love Bill Ward. Yes, I'm a drummer, and of course I want to see the original drummer. But once again, if he can't do it, he can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay that someone equally as qualified will stand in his stead and do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
But once again,
I missed it. I should have gone. I didn't see the tour. I'm an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot. They've got video out, and it's kind of like the last Kiss thing. I'd love to have gone.
Yeah, I didn't
it just wasn't in the cards. I'll buy the video and I'll be happy because I've seen them 24 times.
Yeah, I've seen them a bunch
So,
too.
so anyway, but that being said, yeah, 13. It's not the greatest Black Sabbath, and I'll just keep sliding back to those first 8, principally the first 4 or 5. You know, after Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, like we said, the waters get murky. Ooh, but you know, this I think this was just good enough to allow them to retire amicably. Because if this thing would have been a firepower like Judas Priest, you think they could retire after that?
Mm.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my theory on it. You guys can comment all you want. You can
tell us what we missed. Tell us why we're idiots, and I'm sure I skipped a record. We certainly got them out of order. Whatever, it's our show.
We're just a couple of old hacks talking about. Well, I'm older than him, but we're just talking about music. So, and that's what metal and music is all about. We're just having a good time.
It's buddies hanging out and talking about metal.
So, that being said,
like us, share us, turn your friends on to us. Find us on YouTube. Find us on Facebook. You can hit up Carcass on Instagram at CarcassJohnArt. I'm on Instagram at IamMetalRob. Man, we're out there. We're easy to find. We'd love to hear why you think Tier is good. Why you think 7 Star is good or not good.
Or forbidden.
Why you loved 13 and we didn't care about it. That kind of thing. And it always goes with a measure of respect when we talk about an album we don't like. We love the bands. We love that they're still making music, or they were still making music. We just don't care for those albums. So don't take it personal. Hope the bands don't.
I personally don't like Tiger Tails or Bang Tango.
But I do.
But I like this guy. He's still cool. So what difference does it make, right? We don't have to always like everything the same.
Yeah, we don't always agree, but man, we'd love to hear from you guys, and check us out on Facebook and like us and love us and all that kind of stuff. And until next time for episode 26, which we don't know what that'll be yet, metal will prevail.